Welcome to the A Train Sports Talk Video Podcast, also known as The Ride. I know it's been a while since the train has been on the track. I've been somewhat under the weather, and a lot has been going on. And I promise I will do my best to get you up to speed on some things. Programming note, those of you who tune in and watch the video stream or listen to the podcast, y'all know I normally talk pretty much on this one high school, and I usually reserve my national sports talk for my In the Zone podcast. But today I'm going to go a different route, and tomorrow, I promise you, because I will have the time to do it, I will bring you up to speed on the state playoffs, high school football state playoffs in the state of Kansas. But today we're going to talk some NFL, namely some Shedeur Sanders, some Cleveland Browns, and yes, of course, some Kevin Stefanski, because some of y'all want to hear good, if you want to call it gossip or good water cooler talk. Well, guess what? I'm going to give that to you. Now, let's first set this narrative straight. No, Shedeur Sanders was not a world beater. They played the Raiders. But before you get off into, yeah, that's all they did. They just beat the Raiders. The Raiders are still, as hard as it is to say, especially for Raider fans, they're still an NFL team. Mind you that the Raiders also beat the New England Patriots, who now has the Buffalo Bills sniffing their backside. That's right. The Bills have had their run of the AFC East, but now they're looking up again to the New England Patriots, which is all the more reason it pays to have the right coach and the right quarterback in place. Oh, yes, and the Dallas Cowboys. Fly, Eagles, fly. Well, the Eagles got their wings clipped. On a on a day when AJ Brown had his best outing, the targets, the yards, touchdown catch, and you blew a lead. And to all those so-called Cowboy fans, to which I am one, Dak did it. Yeah, I said it. Dak Prescott did it. He orchestrated the comeback. The defense hunkered down, but Dak Prescott did it. That's for those of you who always says Dak is the reason we lose most of the games. I'm going to say it like this. Dak is not the reason we lose most of our games. Dak is one out of 21 other players that have positions on that field. Let's get this straight. I'm going to reference a movie. What's the concept? One band, one sound. When one sounds bad, we all sound bad. When one sounds good, we all sound good. What's the concept? One team. When one player fails, they all fail. When one player does good, they all do good. Of course, that's not always the case in NFL. AJ Brown could be a witness to that. Over 100 yards receiving, touchdown catch, and they still lost. He looked good in a losing cause. So to all those of you who want to say Dak Prescott beat Jalen Hurts? No, Dak Prescott didn't beat Jalen Hurts unless they were playing a one-on-one game of basketball or playing a one-on-one game of tennis. No, the Dallas Cowboys beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Of course, I know what's going to happen. Cowboys play Kansas City Chiefs this Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. And lo and behold, if the Dallas Cowboys beat the Kansas City Chiefs, some way, somehow, I already know somebody going to say Cowboys took down Patrick Mahomes. No, it would be the Cowboys took down Kansas City Chiefs. Right now, the line on that game is Kansas City minus 3.5. I'm telling you right now, I'll take Dallas Cowboys in the points. But what I really want to get into is the Cleveland Browns, Shedeur Sanders, Kevin Stefanski. Because, yes, they played the Raiders. And for Shedeur Sanders, in his first career NFL start, he led the Browns to a 24-10 victory over the Raiders, becoming the first Browns quarterback since 1995 to win his debut start. You know how many years ago that is? That's 31 years, if I did the math right. His final stats, he completed 11 of 20 passes for 209 yards, one touchdown and one interception. He also took just one sack. Now, I want to say this, though. I looked at some of those plays, looked at the offensive line, and I could have sworn there were a couple of instances where the lineman actually missed a block, which almost caused Sanders to get decimated more than the one time that he did. Now, maybe the play was designed for Sanders to roll outside, get him outside the pocket and, showcase his arm strength, which he did do that. And we'll get into that. But I saw some very suspect offensive line play. And it did not, from my viewpoint, and I kept playing it back, from my viewpoint, it did not look like it was a mistake. It looked like it was deliberately done. And I know I may get into some trouble saying stuff like this, but hey, I just call it like I see it. Now, word has it, the locker room was happy for him to get his first start. They had his back. But there's always at least one or two that's not on board. Who they are, we may never know. But if you go back and look at some of that game film and some of the footage of his touchdown throw and that long pass that he threw that set them up for a touchdown, pay close attention to the offensive line. I'm telling you, it looked very shady. The key plays, though, his first career touchdown pass was a 66-yard catch and run by running back Dylan Sampson in the fourth quarter. And that play was a beauty because that was basically height, one step drop, bam, gone. And yes, Dylan Sampson did the rest. He also completed a 52-yard pass to Isaiah Bond, which set up a rushing touchdown. That right there is the play in particular that I'm talking about. The one where he completed a 52-yard pass to Isaiah Bond, which set the rushing touchdown. That's where I seen some very suspect, shady offensive line play. I seen the lineman going through the motion like he was trying to block, but at the same time, wasn't trying to block. And let me tell you something, on a play like that, if that gets your quarterback lit up to where he can't come back in the game, guess who y'all have to turn to next? Bailey Zappi. Do I need to say it again? Next man up would be Bailey Zappi. Right, that part right there. He also had a 33-yard completion to Jerry Jeudy, which resulted in a fumble. And may I also add, investigation. Yeah, investigation. Why? Because there are those who are looking at that play, those who are the higher ups, and they tend to think that maybe he was trying to throw the game or had a fix on the game. All I have to ask is, can we be done with this type of buffoonery? Really? So overall, while his stat line was modest, he generally avoided big mistakes, which you don't want your quarterback to do is commit a lot of mistakes. He avoided a lot of those and helped the offense generate big plays. The Browns defense was dominant, recording 10 sacks, which helped maintain a comfortable lead throughout the game. Now, Shedeur Sanders has some post game comments, and after the game, he was asked his thoughts, and he said, well, that's what happened with a week's worth of practice. Imagine if I had a whole off season. So, with that being said, Sanders did start the game after having a full week of practice with the starters compared to his initial debut, where he had no first team reps. One source mentions that fans felt the coach was snubbing Sanders, and some commentators suggested there was a belief that the head coach preferred a different quarterback, but this is a general reaction to the game, not a direct response to the specific offseason quote. We also move into some more post-game comments. Kevin Stefanski's post-game comments. Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski post-game locker room speech drew criticism for his brief acknowledgement of Shedeur Sanders. So are we playing tit for tat? Because Sanders said that's what a week worth of practice will do for you. Imagine if I had a whole offseason. To which some said maybe he was throwing his coach under the bus. I've heard some guys on the national scene said they seen it as that. Maybe Sanders didn't see it like that. Maybe he was just saying that, hey, put me in a better position to succeed. Was it a comment that should have been made after a game with the sideline reporter? Well, it's already been out there. So whether we say yes or no, it doesn't matter because it's already been said. But it's all about how we perceive things. So Stefanski was effusive in his praise for nearly every unit and singled out special teams kicker Corey Bajorquez. I guess that's how you pronounce that. And the big play by running back Dylan Sampson. Of course, he delivered a profanity laced tribute to defensive end Myles Garrett, who received the game ball for his 3 sacks. When Stefanski finally mentioned Sanders, he said, and a rookie getting his first start. Nice job, Shedeur. Well done. This was a significantly more subdued and brief mention than the others. So the public reaction goes like this: the perceived snub led to criticism from fans and former NFL players like Shannon Sharp, of course, and Chad Johnson, who felt the rookie quarterback deserved more recognition and a game ball for his historic first win. But then things get a little bit more interesting even after that, because Stefanski was asked the question: does this mean Shedeur Sanders will get the start in the next game? To which he was non-committal on a starter. When asked after the game if Sanders would remain the starter, Stefanski was non-committal, stating he was, and this is his quote, not going to get into that and would take my time and do what's best for the football team. Let me tell you right now what is best for the football team. Start Sanders. Right now, the players are rallying behind him. Myles Garrett himself pretty much endorsed, let's go with the kid moving forward. Let me see, you're now what? 3-8. You're not going to make the playoffs. We've seen enough of Dylan Gabriel. Granted, there are two different types of quarterbacks. Dylan Gabriel pretty much is going to be the yes man version of what Jason Garrett was to Jerry Jones, and what I believe Schottenheimer is going to be to Jerry Jones. Sanders, on the other hand, is like a Barry Bonds or a Mark McGwire. He's going to swing for the fences. He may strike out a few times, but he's going for the home run. That's what excites the fan base. That's what excites the players in the locker room. And let me add to this. Some of y'all might have seen his pregame comments when asked, what is it that you want fans to remember about your first start? Players, the coaches. He said that I'm the guy for the job. That might not be the exact quote, but in that same realm. Some people deem that as being cocky. Well, can I remind you of something? When the Cleveland Browns drafted Baker Mayfield, he had that same attitude, but it was deemed as being confident. Come on now. Why is it being deemed confident for one and being cocky for another? I get it. One of them's last name is Sanders, who happens to be the son of another man named Sanders. They called him Prime Time. Well, Dion Best said it like this in a 60-minute interview. Don't let my confidence offend your insecurities. Think on that for a minute. Anyway, back to this non commitment. He says, I will take my time and do what's best for the football team, noting that he expected starter Dylan Gabriel was expected to be cleared from his concussion soon. So the quarterback narrative. The results reinforce the public perception of tension or a lack of support for Sanders from Coach Stefanski. public perception of tension, commentators like Cam Newton have stated a belief that I do not think Kevin Stefanski wants Shedeur Sanders to succeed in Cleveland. Well, if that is the case, are there any takers? Question is, though, if push came to shove, who would be the first man gone? I want y'all to think about this one. Would it be Shedeur Sanders or would it be Kevin Stefanski? Or is this a situation whereas Shedeur Sanders goes out in his second game because, yes, he has been named starter for the next game against the 49ers, which is a step up, maybe two, maybe three, maybe four steps up from the Raiders. And he goes out, avoids some mistakes, and leads them to a victory over the 49ers. Does this create a dilemma? Does this make Sanders himself look good? And at the same time, make the coach look good? Knowing that maybe the coach really didn't want Sanders. And from what I'm hearing, upper management really didn't want him. So, yes, I could see a dilemma on the Cleveland Browns' hand, one that they were not ready to bargain for. That being said, this indicates a pre existing narrative of a potential rift. The snub context. This perceived tension aligns with Stefanski's very brief and subdued post game mention of Sanders compared to other players. His non committal stance, Stefanski's non committal stance on naming Sanders the permanent starter despite the win further fueled the speculation that he preferred another quarterback. Or, like I told you, even if Dylan Gabriel isn't fit, the only other person you have is Bailey Zappi. What kind of preparation has he had? So, since Sanders made the comment, that's with a week's worth of practice. Imagine if I had a whole offseason, it would likely be interpreted through the lens of this existing tension. The interpretation, the quote could be seen as a subtle challenge to the coaching staff, or it could be deemed as praise for self. It's self praise implying he played well despite limited preparation to starters, or questioning the preparedness. It could be interpreted as a slight against the staff for not having given him starter level reps earlier, suggesting the team could be better if he had been fully prepared all off season. So the verdict on Sanders' statement about being prepared and more time with the first team, getting more reps, would that be deemed as throwing the coach under the bus? Well, giving the national conversation, already suggesting a lack of support for Sanders from the coach, a quote like this would certainly be perceived by analysts and fans as adding fuel to the fire and indirectly criticizing the team's preparation of personnel choices up to that point. In summary, while the specific quote couldn't be confirmed, the atmosphere surrounding the team was already highly charged, which is why Stefanski's post-game comments were scrutinized and Sanders' performance led to speculation about his future with the team. But right now, I don't think his future with the team is in question because now we know moving forward, Sanders will be given the nod against the San Francisco 49ers. And yes, we know the 49ers are dealing with injuries on the defensive side. Of course, watching them play against the Panthers, defense still looks pretty formidable. Mind you, they kept a quarterback in check last night who the previous week went off for 400 yards and several touchdowns. They held the running game that was pretty serviceable in check. But like I said, they will be going up against a better defensive unit, better offensive unit. Of course, the Browns have a dominant offensive unit. I mean, defensive unit. Pardon me. So, should Sanders win this next game, all that means is the noise is going to get much, much, much louder. And the question remains, who will outlast the noise? Is this a situation the better Sanders does, the better the team does? Does this also make the coach look good and his contract is extended? Or will the players actually have a voice and say we want to move a different direction from the coach? Because it's also been said if the Browns want to part ways with Kevin Stefanski, before the team owner could get the word fired out his mouth, he would have a job within 5 minutes. Now, I don't know how true that is because a lot of people in Seatown has been clamoring for his dismissal. So I want to know what your thoughts are on this whole Kevin Stefanski, Shedeur Sanders, Cleveland Brown situation. Because this is some drama that will eventually unfold. So drop me your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think. If you are watching this on YouTube or twitch.tv, by all means, leave some comments as well. Let me know where you are actually watching this video live stream from. This podcast will be up on Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Music, also the Odyssey app, or you can download the free Spreaker app as well, so you can get all this good content. Up on tomorrow, though, I will be back tomorrow, and I will get back into my high school groove, get you set up for the state football tournament. It's the finals, 6A all the way down to 6-man. There will be some good games on hand. So if you're in the area, you want to get out, support these young men who put in all this hard work to be able to hoist that trophy up the day and the day after Thanksgiving. When I say the day, I'm talking about the day after Thanksgiving because now the way they got it formatted, it will be playing Friday and Saturday. So I want to make sure I get you the rundown, the schedule for all those games. And like I say, I relish and cherish your feedback. Until the next time, keep your tickets. They are reusable. And we will take this ride up on tomorrow. Glad to be back in the conductor's seat. Until tomorrow, take care. I'm out.